Did that come up? Okay, hi all. Thanks very much for joining us today in More Than a Waffle. I'm Deb and I'm joined with Bec and Jess here. She is our team leader of the Flying Flamingos branch, and Jess is going to just be checking in on the chat. So if you've got any questions or, you just want more information, she's going to just be reading the chat for us so we can be busy cooking. We've got I'm doing 2 different waffle recipes today, and Bec will go in a minute why we decided to do this particular segment. It is part of a series, so we really hope that you get out of it as much as what we feel we get out of doing this for you. And we do have a little challenge at the end, so I hope you will participate in that and be excited to do that at the end as well. So where did my partner in crime go? Bec.
Okay, so the reason why we're doing these, so waffles are extremely versatile and kind of underrated. We thought that they fit really well in lunchboxes and are really good to prep because you can keep them in the fridge or you can freeze them. So this is part of a series of different portable food that we're going to be making. So either foods that fit really well into lunchboxes or foods that don't have to go into lunchboxes for kids who are a little bit older, like mine, that are a little bit too cool to have a lunchbox, or they don't have time at recess and lunch, like they just grab something and go and run off and then either lose their lunchbox or they just don't take it anymore because it's too hard. So we're trying to kind of get that kind of child involved in making sure that kids are eating lunches at school, because even though kids can go a whole day without eating food when they're busy, it's incredibly important for kids to continue to eat during the day, particularly teen kids. A lot of kids don't eat enough protein and they don't have enough fiber. So with what we're doing, we're trying to encourage kids to eat delicious foods that are really easy to make, and as we said, they store really well, so you don't have to prep food every day. So it's not like making a sandwich for a lunchbox every day. You can freeze these and defrost them overnight to pop in your lunchbox.
Okay, and now I've got some more pointers in regards to the reason why we, particularly in the Mackay family, have really embraced the waffle. Is we are a gluten-free, dairy-free family, and it's not every day that I can make a loaf of bread, or the amount of the ingredients that you need or the time that you need to bake the bread. Because if you buy pre-made gluten-free bread, you think you're helping your gut, but there's a lot of other additives and starches and, sugars that are in that. That's kind of not ideal, especially for inflamed guts. And so therefore we're kind of loving and embracing the waffle because it does be quite filling. My kids keep on saying after the second one, like, I'm full. And if anyone like us have kids, especially when you've got allergies and you can't have, gluten or dairy, which kind of make things a lot heavier and filling, they tend to want to eat and graze a lot more. So I'm finding this is helping the pantry, helping my time, and I'm just loving, the whole concept. And I think when you start rethinking outside the square, as far as time management, as we'll talk about later on, it is a real game changer. Wouldn't you say, Bec?
Yeah, it's definitely an awesome time saver. As I said, my kids get them out of the fridge and they just throw them in the toaster. So you pretty much have fresh waffles whenever you want them. As far as the lunch waffles, they don't tend to mind eating them at room temperature. So they're generally the ones that have veggies and stuff in them. The awesome thing about the waffle is it's so versatile. Like, we're used to just we'll show you a plain breakfast or dessert vanilla waffle and the different variations that you can do to make those interesting. You can put those in lunch boxes, but we've also got a bunch of different savory options. And then past this, in our portable series, we're going to be talking about making some normal recipes into waffles. Based on that kind of portability, like they're compact, they fit well into sandwich bags, they fit well into lunch boxes. and they're really tasty. It also is, you'll see the convenience of cooking in a waffle machine. It cooks on both sides at the same time, so it's really, really fast. So we can get, in my machine, we can get 4 waffles in 5 minutes.
I've only got a 2 waffle one, but it's a little portable one, and I do love it. And for those that don't have a waffle maker, I used to have one of the, you know, little small cheap kind of Love Hearty type ones at from Kmart. I think they were about $12, but I've just invested in this one, and I got to say, because of COVID, toasty makers and waffle makers are becoming hard to source. And I'm not joking. Like, these used to be very retro and easy to buy. So you'll probably have to shop around a bit to actually acquire one as well. So if you haven't got one already. Yeah,
we did the same thing. We started with a budget Kmart waffle maker, and we used it until it died over several years. And then a few years ago, we upgraded to a bigger one because it was something that we did quite a lot. Both makers.
Now, I think we've been asked a question about keeping in the fridge. Yep. So do you want to answer that, Bec? How long we can keep the batter? Or are you talking in there about the batter? Because you can keep them already pre-made, but we even keep the batter, which is a plus. So you can prep and make batches, because batter is really quick and easy to make, and have it already in the fridge for the week. Yeah,
so the batter lasts in the fridge for a few days. I find it starts getting really thick. In a waffle maker, that's not an issue. If you're making more of a pancake, if you don't have a waffle machine, you can use a pan, and you can make these into more like pancakes or fritters. But yeah, if the mixture gets a bit thick in the fridge, I usually just water it down with a little bit of like milk, or some like nut milk or something, depending on what you're using. The pre-made waffles will probably only keep in the fridge for about 3 days. Otherwise they go in the freezer, and they can last in the freezer for 3 months. Yeah. So we've got in the ebook, I've talked about storage. So we've popped it in there, how long you can keep them for. And we do it 2 ways. We either put them in sandwich bags, or we try not to do that as much. If we've made quite a lot of them, we put them in a big container, and they tend to thaw really easily, and they don't stick together too much. So they're quite easy to get a few out at a time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That sounds good. So now, because you know, there's people jumping on you that may know you, may not know either of us. I would love it if you just tell them a bit about your background and how I think that really incorporates getting people to understand why this is a passion, this particular subject.
Yeah, so I'm a clinical nutritionist. So I studied nutrition for 7 years, and this all started for me after I got my Thermomix. So I guess I'm really passionate about helping people improve their health. My main business is working with families, trying to help kids eat foods that they don't like to eat. This one here is extremely picky. And over the years, you know, we've tried different things to help her broaden her palate. And, you know, that's what I really love doing with other people, is giving people different nutritious ways to feed their kids, like in different forms.
Without taking away and not making it complicated too.
Yeah, it has to be easy. Yeah, and I mean, obviously we've got different, I'm gluten-free and dairy-free majority of the time. I do have some of them, so we're not exclusively, like, I'm not allergic, but I'm intolerant, so I'm very mindful of how much I eat. So we adapt a lot of recipes to be gluten-free and dairy-free, and that's what we've done again today. So the ones we're making today have flour in them, but we also have alternatives in the recipes, so you can make them gluten-free, dairy-free, or egg-free. And I know your recipes, Deb, are already gluten-free and dairy-free.
Yeah, that's right. So for those that don't know, I'm Deb. Apart from being a Thermomix consultant, I am a natural perfumer. So I run a business here in the Barossa, and I teach natural perfumery, as well as having a sustainable wellness concept store called the Thoughtful Pantry. So I think of, like Bec, you know, it all starts with the Thermomix journey. I remember when I first started making things from scratch, not only seeing the change of taste, but also behaviour. I've got kids on the spectrum, and it was a real game changer for us. And I guess that's where our passion lied. And also I'm a mother Hubbard, and I think about using what you've got and adapting and just keeping things simple, and just, like I said, using what you got and being a bit more mindful with where you're sourcing things. So that's where I go in that space. So I think Bec's going to start off with the first waffle. Yep. Yeah. So what are you doing, Bec?
So I'm just doing basic vanilla waffles. So I've already made the batter because it's exactly the same process as all of the waffles we're going to do today. So we won't keep making the same thing over and over again. But what I'm going to show you is the technique and how to make them a little bit more interesting, if that makes sense. So in our little recipe book, we have the recipe for vanilla waffles. So the waffles that we make, we've adapted recipes that we've had before to our taste. The awesome thing about the Thermomix is you can choose how much sugar you put into your waffles. These ones are sweet. So if you want a savoury waffle that's plain, you just don't add sugar. But yeah, you can control how much sugar you're putting in there. You can control the thickness of the batter. So what we normally do is make the batter and let it sit for about 20 minutes. So what this does is softens the fibres and the protein in the flour. That doesn't really have any benefit for us, but it makes it kind of light and fluffy. So it's a better waffle. So you don't have to do that. You can pop it straight in the waffle machine if you want to.
Personally, Bec, I think that it is ideal that you do, because it's a bit like, the first pancake, people get a bit impatient and they quickly make their batter, but they don't give it that little bit of time to rest, and then you've got more chances of having a failed first pancake. I think with a waffle maker, and depending on your quality of your waffle maker, especially if you have to, like I've got one that you don't have to do any greasing whatsoever. So for me, it's really imperative I just give it that little bit of time.
Yeah, this one likes to be greased the first time. So after you put oil on it one time, you generally don't have to. When I'm doing veggies and things that are a little bit more sticky, I tend to put a little bit more oil on there, and you've got to be a bit more careful about how you cook them. So I guess with waffles, we've learned it's trial and error with some batters. Some batters cook amazing and really easy, and others you've got to be careful not to lift the lid too early. Otherwise, your batter gets kind of pushed in two different directions, which isn't good. So.
Excuse me, Bec, we have a question from Trina. What brand do you use with your waffle maker, please?
So this one's a Cuisine. What is that? Cuisine?
And I've got a T-full one, and the T-full one is really compact. It's like this size, and what I like, it's got different plates in it, so I can make it into a grill, I can make it into a toasty. It comes with replaceable templates as well, so it's kind of an all-in-one. It has about 7 different little plates that you can choose from.
Good if you're like me and don't like having bunches of different devices.
Yeah, and not just that, I'm thinking like my girlfriend, she's in Victoria, and she's been trying everywhere to get a grill, like a foreman's grill kind of thing to just do her meat on, because she lives alone, and everywhere's out of stock, because this particular waffle maker has the crate plates, it's got the grill plates, the toasty, like if you want to make toasties, it's really good, or in a caravan, you know what I mean, that you can do all that. Yeah.
It's awesome. Well, I'm going to show you how to use this one. This one's really big. So one of the things you learn, so with us, we like to make big square waffles. They cut perfectly into quarters, and then we either freeze them in quarters already, and then the kids can put them in their bento box. You know how the bento boxes have small little compartments? They tend to be able to stack an entire waffle in one of those small little rectangular compartments. But I also learned we make like sticky date pudding waffles, which are awesome, that you don't have to fill up the entire square. You can just put some mixture in the middle. So for these ones, I hope you can see it okay. Sorry. Yeah. So to get the mixture in the middle, so I've got a few different mixtures, and I put the recipes for them in our ebook. So I've got an apple and cinnamon, which is kind of like an apple pie filling. We have some chopped chips, pretty basic. And then Jess gave me some lovely rhubarb. So we made strawberry, apple, strawberry, and rhubarb. What's this stuff called? Compote? Is that
I call it compote.
Compote. Yeah, it's beautiful. It is so good. I think we were eating it. This is one of the portions that I froze. So you either make them while your batter's sitting or you can make them before you start. But basically to get it inside the waffle, the best way to do it is to just spoon a little bit of waffle mixture into your machine, kind of right in the center. And then you get it everywhere. I'm a messy cook. And then just put a little spoonful in the middle. And then what you really need to try to do, that one was a bit frozen, is try and get the next lot of batter right on top of it so it doesn't stick to the top of your machine. And then what I normally do is just do like 2 normal waffles down the bottom, because otherwise you're taking too long kind of filling up the machine, if that makes sense. And half my kids don't like the filling. Or you can chuck some choc chips. Maddie's very excited about choc chips. You just chuck some choc chips on top and then shut it. Basically, the only problem you'll have with it, and the reason I'm not showing you banana, you can mash banana and put in there as well. Banana tends to stick to your machine, depending on your machine. One like Deb's, which is a bit more non-stick, is probably ideal. Otherwise, you get banana stuck to it, and there's no issue. It just doesn't look as nice. So we tend to prefer these ones. But that's how simple it is to kind of add just a little bit more flavour to your waffle, particularly if you're going to be sending them to school in lunch boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to do the next?
Yeah, you start the next one, and then I'll show you what these ones are like.
Okay, awesome. So I'm doing 2 different ones. I'm doing like a sweet one, and then I'm going to do a savoury one. And the savoury ones to me are the biggest game changer. You know, it's just kind of, it's just incredible. As I'm just thinking of picnics, kids' lunches, and as we spoke about, like, you know, this is like portables, especially with teens. They do not want to take lunch boxes, and especially boys, they're too restless. They want to just eat on the go. But also, if you think of kids after school who are really hungry, or they've got sport in between after school, and you're wanting to give them something substantial but quick between time, that would be a good one to do as well. It doesn't matter what waffle mixture we make. I do find that like it lasts about 3 days in the fridge, the batter. And 3 months as well for these ones, as Bec had mentioned. The one I'm doing at the moment is this one I've actually using eggs, and I'm gonna, on the savoury one, we don't use eggs. It will be completely vegan. I have one child with an egg allergy, so I'm always looking at ways to be able to give her something nice so she doesn't always miss out. But for this one, you know, she would. Now, what I'm going to do, this one is a very interesting, it's more like a cake style type of waffle. I'm just trying to find my MC. I might just use this one. In that, we're going to do a bit of separating of the eggs, and we're going to actually get our egg whites peaked for that. So now I'm a real cheat when it comes to doing separation. So I'm just breaking my egg along the top, and then I'll just put my yolk in the MC. Right, I think that's good enough. Okay, so I'll take that off, and I'm going to put a pinch of salt in there to help it peak. And I put it on for about 2 minutes. I probably won't even need that. That's just the time, because I want it on 37 and speed 4 with our butterfly in, so I can watch that peak. Now I'm just going to get a bowl to put that in. So on this, I haven't included in the ebook the custard recipe or the lemon curd. Actually, maybe Bec did add the lemon curd. Did you add the vegan lemon curd recipe on? Okay, awesome. So in the ebook, you will get the vegan lemon curd, which is really good if you're wanting to make lemon curd and you just don't know how. I can let you know it is not coconut based, which to me is really exciting because often people, when they go dairy free, you know, coconut seems to be the predominant flavour and you just don't want everything to taste like coconut. The vegan custard is the one on Cookie Doo. So you can just do a search on Cookie Doo if you've got a TM6 or you've got Cookie Doo subscription. Just look on there. We've actually put the link in the ebook as well. So that's almost done. And what I'm going to do is then move the egg white to the bowl, and then I'll just add all the other ingredients, and then at the end we fold in the egg whites. Now, Bec mentioned about that she normally has to grease. I personally don't need to grease my waffle maker. However, I actually, because I'm doing gluten-free and dairy-free, I actually put oil in the batter. And I think because I've got already oil incorporated in the batters that I'm making, that kind of helps. Another tip is putting a little bit of corn flour in your batter, even if the recipe doesn't call for it, will give you those really crunchy ones. So if you like your waffles to be crisp and have a bit of a texture, then definitely add the corn flour. Okay, so there's our egg whites. That's one beautiful thing, you know, with our Thermi, not getting failed egg whites and not having to spend ages holding a beater to kind of get it done. Saves time, anything that saves time. We don't need to clean the bowl. So I'm just going to put in the rest of the ingredients. So I'm wanting some almond milk. And so I make my own almond milk. It's asking for 175. Nearly there. Doesn't matter if I go over a bit. Okay. Now, because my custard and lemon curd is set, it's in the fridge. When I blend it all, it's going to make it nice and soft. But at the moment, as you know, custard goes quite thick. So I've put in some lemon curd, vegan, and some custard that I've made. Putting in some maple. You can use whatever sweetener that you want. I haven't tried with sugar. I would suggest if you're going to do a replacement to maple, make it like a liquid. So honey, rice syrup, that would be good. And we're going to put in 60. Like I said, if you don't like it really sweet, you don't have to put that much. I even put a bit more. So it depends on how sweet your custard already is too, or your lemon curd. If that's not been quite sweet, then you can add more. I'll just add a bit of vanilla. And we add some olive oil. It's 50. Now you could use coconut. Personally, I love the crispness that our waffles get from using olive oil. And there are definitely health benefits. Maybe, Bec, are you there at the moment? I don't know where she's. Can you explain some of the benefits of olive oil?
Yeah, so olive oils, obviously it has anti-inflammatory properties. I was going to say completely blank. If you're going to use oil in your cooking, probably the best one that you should use is olive oil, followed by things like coconut oils. Sorry, I have kids running around everywhere. And a puppy. You definitely, so besides being anti-inflammatory, it's heart protective as well. I got to do a whole course on all the awesome things that you can do with olive oil. I'm going to mute myself for a minute.
Bec's just got a new pup as well, so she's got a pup and kids on the loose.
We have like the kitchen's in the center of the house, so literally while I'm talking, I have a dog doing laps around the outside.
Now, all I've used as far as my flour is gluten-free. I cannot rave enough. You can make your own gluten-free flour, but I've got to say, this is like almost to me the equivalent of Bob's Mill, you know, where you can do one-to-one, where you don't need to add additional things. It is just the most fantastic flour that I've ever seen or tried for gluten-free. I use this in my gluten-free focaccia recipe off cookie dough, and people who aren't gluten intolerant, they don't even know that it's actually gluten-free. So that I actually, for those here in Adelaide, we get this from Tony and Mark's, but yeah, it's definitely one to try. Okay, so I needed about 222 of that. I've already put the salt in, so I don't need to add salt because I already incorporated it. So what I'm going to do is just blend that together. And this is where our new functions, my MC's here. I've got to put my eggs in. Okay, so, and that is another reason why I like to put my eggs in the MC, so I don't forget when I break them. If we just go to our blend function and then we just turn the dial, it's the exactly right speed for the right time that I want to blend it. Okay. And we get a really good batter. Like, I love the texture. Like, I don't know if you can see, but this batter is like literally beautiful. And to know that it is gluten-free and dairy-free with that kind of consistency is pretty impressive. But if you do gluten-free, dairy-free cooking, like it's like, oh. So I'm just going to add my reserved egg white. And we're going to just like fold that in. So we don't want to blend it. We're just going to slightly fold it in with our spatula. And there we go. So I'm going to go off cooking with that. Bec, do you want to? Oh, she's got Kaylee. Right.
Never ending creative kids. Yeah, all my kids are lining up for the waffles. They've all got plates, so everyone's got a plate ready. Terrible. So pretty much what we've got is I've cooked them at 2 different times. You can see that the ones over here I didn't cook as long, and this one got stuck to the top, but this one didn't. So it's awesome. So you just got to be really careful to try and cover your waffle completely so that it doesn't stick to the top. Just had another plate put in front of me. And then these ones we cooked for a little bit longer while we're doing something. So it really depends. Mine's got a few different settings on how crisp you want your waffle. Basically, the more oil and butter that you put into your waffle, the crispier it's going to be. That's kind of the difference. Pancakes tend to not have as much butter in them. And with a waffle, you want to make sure there's a good amount of oil. As Deb said, if it's a non-stick, it'll help it not stick. But even in mine, which needs a little bit of oil anyway, it tends to make it a little bit more crispy. And the longer you cook it for, the kind of crispier you're going to get. So you just cook it to your preference. And then this one here was just the remainder of the batter. Usually it fills it twice. I've probably been a bit stingy on a few of them, as you can see. But you basically, as I said, you don't have to fill up the entire waffle. You can have more like a little round, little funny shaped waffle as well. And that's pretty much them done.
So, Bec, are you going to cook your recipe or?
Yeah, I'll get my little assistant. These ones are apple, so you can't see. Sorry, I forgot. These ones are the apple pie ones. You can't really see it, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, look at them.
Yeah, I was going to say, give me 2 seconds. I'll go throw these out of the way. And then,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So do we have any questions? Is anyone already making waffles other than sweet waffles?
No, I haven't made any. The ones I have made have stuck to my waffle maker, so I need a new waffle maker. But you've definitely inspired me.
Oh, that's good. I think Bec and I are both doing a savoury waffle now, and if anyone's like myself, I'm more a savoury than a sweet person. And it can be really good for a brunch, or if you've got friends coming over and you're just wanting to have a quick, gourmet brunch, so to speak. Like if anyone saw the photos that I put yesterday, they were phenomenal, and that's our bonus recipe. I've developed it myself. It's at the back of the ebook. We've created antipasto ones, so we've got like artichokes, sun-dried tomatoes, olives, and roasted capsicum inside the waffles, and we serve that with some aioli and a nice garden salad with a vinaigrette, and everyone just absolutely loved them. So yeah, it's definitely quicker and easier than a pizza too, I've got to say. So you're ready to go back.
All right, so we've got Maddie popping things in. So we're making corn and black bean waffles. As we said before, so we're doing some different sort of savoury waffles. The reason I chose these ones is beans are incredibly good to regulate blood sugar levels, and beans sometimes are a hard thing to get into kids. So I've chosen this one because the beans mill in the Thermomix with all the rest of the ingredients, so it doesn't really have solid beans in it. So you can use, we're going to use some black beans today, but you can also use red kidney beans for this as well. They're both very similar in taste, but if your kids will already eat kidney beans but don't really like black beans, it's a really good way to diversify your diet and get different types of fibre in.
We like black beans more, actually. I've started utilising, instead of even the brown lentils, I've started like using black, especially in my bolognese, in a vegetarian one. Really like the black beans.
So one of the best things you can do for your diet is to diversify and to make sure that you're having as many different types of sort of beans and legumes as you can. So if you're a family that really like a certain type of lentils, it's really great to branch out and give it a family favourite a try with a different type of lentil every now and then. Some of the things that I've seen, the best way to diversify your gut biome is to have at least 60 different types of fibre every week, which seems kind of crazy, but it just means eating a lot of different types of fruits and vegetables and beans and things like that, which I guess is what Deb and I are trying to do, is trying to give you some fun ways to add those different things into your diet, if that makes sense. So we've got Maddie, throw the stuff in. So a corn and black bean waffle, as I said, the recipe is going to be on our ebook, but for now, so it's got coriander. If you hate, chop it in. If you hate coriander, like my partner, either this one's pretty good because you can hide it. He can't taste it in these. Otherwise, just put parsley or something in there instead. And there's a jalapeno, which is being seeded and cut into little bits. And we are going to chop these for 3 seconds speed 8. So I'm just going to press the wrong button. I'm just going to pop it on mute so you don't get your ears blasted.
Bec, I'm just going to let you know that when you're on Zoom, it actually doesn't it reduce the sound, so you don't need to put it on.
Oh, really? I was worried.
Yeah, I was on a demo and the person thought the TM6 was the most amazing machine because she never heard it.
Back down. It's not too bad. I love the TM6 doesn't make as much noise as, say, the TM31. I'm not sure what they did there, but the sound doesn't come out of the bowl as much, so it's a little bit quieter. All right, so once we've got that, so we're going to put in some polenta, or another thing that you can use for this is dried corn kernels, and you can make your own. So we're going to use 80 grams. bit closer. Madison likes to tip the entire thing into the machine.
I love that you're helping there, Maddie.
She's my favourite little helper. It's so fun. It's always fun. You need context.
Anise is cooking dinner tonight. She's chosen a meal from Cookie Doo. She loved it. She thought it was like Pinterest. And she went through and she chose the meal she's going to cook for the family tonight.
What are you having for dinner?
We're having, it is, what's it called? It's a noodle dish. I've actually put it in my cook today. So let's have a look because then that will help me.
We don't know what we're having for dinner yet.
Me goreng. Me goreng.
Oh, yum.
Yep.
Yum. All right, I'm going to put the flour in. My helper deserted me. That's it.
She just wants to eat.
Yeah, she's trying to eat the waffles because she knows.
No, I'm trying to get the little
seagulls. Yeah. Yeah.
I want.
What do you want for dinner, Kaylee?
Can I chippy fish, carrot and beans?
She wants fish, carrots, and beans, apparently.
Now, waffles, I think, is a genius way. If you've got kids who are really fighting vegetables, being able to put it in a fun way and really get it into them, and it is really disguised in the waffle. You can start off small and then increase the amount or then increase the texture component. Yeah.
That is great. That's why when they make yogurt, we get a lot of people come in and they're like, we want to make, our kids will only eat the really sugary yogurts. How do we change that? It's like you just reduce the sugar over time. So if you're going to take the sugar out, your kids are going to hate you. And they're not going to want to eat the yogurt. So if you go down even by 5 grams each time, you're making a difference. So, that's kind of the easiest way to do it, is to adjust the taste. It's the same with, adults when we're trying to reduce their sugar is, if you have two sugars in a coffee, change it to 1.5 and then change it to 1 and then go down to half. Maybe change it over to honey instead of sugar, so that at least you're getting some sort of nutritional benefit from it as well. That's kind of the main thing. So we've added in, here's the next one, we've added in flour, the black beans. So they've been drained. Yep. Deb's got a recipe in the ebook that used aquafaba, so you could use the aquafaba from the beans for that recipe. We've got 2 eggs, we've got some melted butter and milk. So now we're going to put in some baking powder and some baking soda. And this one's the real kicker. So obviously this is very much like a taco seasoning. So we've got cumin, coriander, some salt, some garlic, and some black pepper. And on our last class that I did with Jess, we were talking about how things like cumin are incredibly important. And I think we've talked to Deb. Was it Deb? We were talking about this, about how cumin actually helps kind of break down the proteins in your beans. And you know how when you have beans, you can get a little bit gassy. So
and not only that, is a lot of people think because when they're having beans and they straight away get those discomforts that they kind of avoid beans altogether. But people don't realise the more regular you have them, the more that it doesn't. It's just your familiarity within your gut. You start actually, your body starts, using it more effectively or being able to know how to digest and break down. And so a lot of people avoid because of that initial, oh my goodness, afraid, where if they had just a little bit gradually and more regularly, they wouldn't have that discomfort. And one thing I've learned on my food and nutrition is the people who have lasted or are the eldest aging in some of these villages near Nepal or whatever, their literal diet is on legumes, and they're known to have the most amazing guts and live for life, like longer than most people would ever do. So don't avoid those legumes or beans.
Yeah, it does get better. And as I said, you can do things like cumin and
turmeric. Yeah. And even a bit of like cardamom, because cardamon's good for your digestive.
You can definitely mix your spices. So I mean, spices are really good for that diversity as well. So you can add heaps of different nutrients and different things to your meals by adding different spices. I think my mum never cooked with fresh herbs or a lot of different spices. And it's been really interesting that now I have like over 100 spices in the cupboard. We don't use a lot of them all the time, but it's kind of just grown one recipe at a time, trying different things. And that was over 8 years. So not really encouraging everyone to run out and clear out the spice store.
But then,
Yeah,
just getting onto spices, a lot of people, even in my Thermomix journey, it took me years afterwards. I was still buying whole spice and milled spice, forgetting that I should be just buying one for budget. Is more cost effective to buy the whole spice. But not only that, is you dry roasting and milling, you're actually getting more intensity of flavour, and the nutrition is definitely better. And don't buy your bulk. If you're going to buy spice, I wouldn't buy it in large quantities because you don't know how long it's been stored as well. Or even yet, Jess is amazing because she dries out her own coriander seeds.
Nice.
She doesn't even hear that. Did you hear that, Jess? I'm bragging about how you dry out your own coriander seeds.
Awesome. Yes. This year our coriander didn't seed, like we didn't have enough coriander and didn't seed. So I'm very sad. We've just run out from the previous year.
Yeah. Cool. So this you pretty much, so you don't blend in the corn, you just fold it in. So just pop your corn in and give it a stir, and you get like a nice thick batter. So this is why we say we didn't show you the vanilla because it's exactly the same. You literally throw things in. One of the things that I love, one of my best tips I think for making batters is if you gradually turn up the speed instead of just going straight to speed 5, you don't tend to get a lot of mess on the lid. Quite a messy cook. This one did, but my vanilla batter, I don't dirty the top of the lid because you just slowly turn it up to speed 5 and let it go, and it doesn't fly up on the lid. So the only thing I do, Patty.
So are you going to show when they're cooked, Bec, are you showing what you would recommend having with them if you wanted to have it as a meal versus just even if like a portable?
Yeah. So I'll cook them now. It's pretty much exactly the same. So you either put a few spoonfuls in the center to make an odd shaped waffle, or fill up the pan. It's trial and error how to not overfill your waffle maker because they're all different sizes. This one I know filled mine and made 10 waffles. If your waffle machine is smaller, you're going to make a whole lot. Deb was saying that her waffles are a bit smaller. You'll make a whole lot more waffles. So it's trial and error how much to put in there to kind of get to your personal taste. But these ones will fill it.
This is them. They're fairly big. Like they're like the size of even a gluten-free sandwich, to tell you the truth. So they're not too bad.
Yeah, they're the size of the sandwich bag, but they're very thick. The machine makes very thick waffles. So I probably put a little bit too much in and a bit much on the side.
It's going to come out the sides.
Yeah. It's a bit messy, but if you clean it up straight away, it comes straight off. That's the easiest thing. Don't let it set. And as I said, we'll do these like the full size because then we cut them into squares and they fit really well in the lunchbox. So if you want to do your next recipe, I'll show you when they're done.
So I'm a bit excited by this recipe because this was the first savoury waffle that I made, and what I love, it is vegan and it's gluten-free and obviously dairy-free. And what I love as well is this is a good way to use up little pieces that you've got in your fridge. I'm all into Mother Hubbard, so you might have a piece of capsicum, or you've cooked with sweet potato and you've only got a little bit left. And so what these are called Bacora waffles. And so they're a bit like the soccer, if you think of those soccer pancakes as well, I think this would be the addition. So literally the amount that I needed of vegetables that go into these waffles is, I'm only using this much carrot, or because it is cauliflower, I'm using this. If you're going to use zucchini or what's the other one? Cabbage. I have tried with cabbage. You need to get a nutmeg, or you need to actually get all the liquid water out of it. So cauliflower seems to be okay, probably because yeah, you don't have too much of it, but I have found if you're using things like cabbage or zucchini, it's a little bit more watery, and you probably have to increase the flour component of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put our root vegetables first in here. I've already weighed it out, and so I'm just using a little bit of beetroot because I love beetroot, a bit of sweet potato and carrot. Just going to chop that, and it's and you would normally, if you didn't have a Thermomix, you would have to grate, and if you're grating, that's when you're really having to, you know, strain out the liquid component. But that's one good thing with the Thermomix. Generally, we don't have to do too much of that, getting a nut bag out and straining out the water component. Now, you could keep that as chunky as you want or as thin as you want. I'm just going to take this waffle out. So, hold on, going. Okay, so we've just chopped that, and then we're going to add in our cauliflower and capsicum, and we're going to add our other little goodies. So we've got some fresh coriander. If you don't like coriander, you can use some parsley, mint, you know, basil. If you didn't want chili, we've got some green chili, just a little bit de-seeded. And I'm adding a bit of ginger. That isn't in the original recipe that's on the ebook, but I'm just showing to you, you can spice it up and like kind of add some additional items in it. I'm forever adapting my recipes. And then because I've run out of onions, I didn't realise I didn't have any, I've just put a spring onion in there, mainly the white bit in there. So I'm going to just blend that again. Now, we've got like almost looking like a couscous or a that, but that's all good because we'll blend it. I do like to have a little bit of texture in my waffles. So I've got some spice here. I've got some turmeric. I've got some cumin. I've got our salt. It asks for cayenne pepper. I've run out, so I'm just using a bit of paprika. So that's going in there. And then we're going to add, I've already weighed out, I've got besan flour. You could obviously make your own besan chickpea flour. And there's a small component which is brown rice flour. If you don't have brown rice flour, you can use your own gluten-free flour, or I've actually got a bit of teff flour, just something other to break up so it's not all that chickpea taste is good. And we'll just put that all in. Okay, we're going to add some baking soda. And that's what I love about the TM6. We can actually weigh out in 1 gram increments, which is good. Right, I'll put a bit more, but that's okay. Add our water. Oh, I'm going to add, you know how I mentioned, I'm going to add some corn flour to give it a bit of crispness too. So I'm just going to put 2 teaspoons. And we add the water. So we're wanting 250. Right. And what I'm going to do, the recipe doesn't ask for it, but like I said, I don't actually grease my waffle maker. So I'm just going to put about a tablespoon of oil in my batter just to make sure that it doesn't stick. And then we just blend that on our amazing blend button function. And it's ready to go. Just to let you know, I normally serve these with a beautiful coconut vegan, like a vegan rata recipe. So they're absolutely beautiful with that, and you could serve it with a dual rice salad or whatever if you're wanting to make it into a meal. Otherwise, I will just put these straight into their lunchbox. And even if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of the rata in a little side dish for them to add. But yeah, so how are you going there, Bec?
Serving it up. So I'm just putting it in a lunchbox as well, so you can see. So one of the things we tend to do with the kids, particularly my older kids, is might put some taco things into a lunchbox for them so they can make their own tacos at school. Sometimes they're okay with that because they'll sit and eat their lunch. And as we said, sometimes they don't, you know, depending on the day, they have to have a sort of lunch that they can grab and go. In this case, this is more of a sit-down lunchbox, so you can cut them into little squares. And we find that these stand up perfectly in the bento box. They just like squish, they're a little bit taller, but they squish down into spot. This one's got a bigger section, so I could probably just leave it in, you know, your little triangle and pop him in there. So that will take 2 little triangles of that. Or you can cut them into squares to make it a little bit easier. And you just fill it with the different sorts of fillings that you would normally have in a taco. So you put a bit of salsa in here and a bit of sour cream and a bit of cheese, and then they can dip and eat. As a meal, generally just, we have a plate of salad. We have to buy our salad at the moment because my vengeful chickens ate all my lettuce. Pretty mean. They let them grow really nice and then they just like ate them off. So you can serve that with some sour cream, and we buy organic salsa from Costco, but you can make your own. I'm fairly sure there'll be a recipe on Cookadoo. Am I right? Has anyone made salsa from Cookadoo? Yeah, pretty sure there would be. We absolutely love Mexican food, so we buy our jalapenos in bulk. So you can pop on some jalapenos. You know, kind of think anything that you'd have with tacos. So bits of fresh avocado, bits of, you can make your own guacamole, which you definitely can find on Cookadoo, because I do the cookie. And then we love to absolutely cover everything with coriander. So that, again, if you don't like coriander, either leave it out or use parsley. And this is actually parsley, not coriander. I grabbed the wrong one out again. Did you see that I did that with dinner last night? I put parsley all over my soup.
I love it over your soup, parsley. I love parsley.
Yeah, it's so great. I was so sad. But yeah, so see, you can make nice bits out of your
How
waffles.
good does that look?
And
especially summer, it's fantastic. Or like here in the Barossa, kids can go to the pool after 3 o'clock for free. So we've been spending a lot of nights just down at the local pool, and to just be able to take something without the fuss, you know, and especially with weather conditions, just knowing that it's going to be safe, you know, to have out, I think is a really good as well.
We've kind of hidden the beans. The only trace we have of the beans here are little kind of black dots, which could also be pepper. So you've got bits of corn, but you've got no trace of your beans if you have bean hating family.
Yeah.
My son's just came to get one. They're like vultures.
So here's my batter. It is a bit runny at the moment, and this is the type of batter that you do want to give it time to actually rest, and just give it that space to sit before you actually put it in the waffle maker. Now, one other thing, what we're going to do now is I'm hoping we can share on the screen. If not, Jess will put in the text box. We're going to put our questionnaire up. If everyone can just, if they can access it, just or let us know in the chat if you're not able to view it. Just complete that. That will then allow you to get this free ebook that we've actually put together. Okay. All right. No, I'm going to have to get you to do it, Jess, as I suspected, because I'm not using my personal page. the poll isn't there, so I'll have to do that next time. So if everyone can just complete or, copy and paste.
I'll get a better link if that one's not working, because it's showing up that I've grabbed it from Facebook. So I'll see if that link works. And the ebook is amazing. I have had a privileged sneak peek from these amazing two women, and it's really good. You definitely want to.
Yeah. I'm quite impressed with the ebook. It's really clear, and I just think it will give you a bit of idea. And it's something that the kids can do if you've got kids still on holidays. This could be, depending on if they use the Thermomix, a good way to introduce them to putting vegetables themselves in their food, and food that they actually like as well. But like, we've only demonstrated a few of the recipes here today. The other thing I wanted to share, I'm just going to put on here, we've got a challenge. Okay, so for those that register and actually do the questionnaire, you obviously will get the ebook, and we've got a competition. And what we're going to offer for this competition is you will get your own copy of the latest Thermomix book, Easy Eats, I think it is, with the ebook. And the way to apply for this competition, or what we call our challenge, is we're wanting to make sure people are taking on what they're learning. And so you're going to try one of these recipes that we've actually done in the ebook, and all you need to do is share your I'll just put it up, just let me go. Hold on, just getting it. Hold on, where is it? Oh, my phone's frozen on me or something at the moment. I can't even move. Hold on. I'm going here. Okay, so here's the challenge that we got. So if you make one of the recipes from the ebook, and then you share it on your social media and putting the following tags on that particular post, you will go in our draw prize, and we will draw that next Sunday. And you will then get your copy of the Thermomix. Obviously, the books will be a bit late because they've only just been issued, so when they are released, but you will get your ebook on the Sunday there. So if you're wanting to participate in the challenge, or learn something, or try one of the recipes, feel free to do that. Now, the other thing I wanted to show is as well is our next class. Bec and I, like we mentioned, we want to do a bit of a series on portables, and so we've got I'm Too Cool for a Lunchbox, and this mainly is for teens, specifically boys. We're finding that boys are not eating the right food, and not only that, is they're just not eating in general, and they're being fairly active. And so we're wanting to think outside the square of a bento type lunchbox, because they don't want a lunchbox, and most high school students don't want a lunchbox. So we hope that you will register for that event. We'll be posting that later today to be able to register to that event too.
And we're also jumping on our branch workshops for the week. They're doing I do like a lunchbox and lunchbox prep every day from Monday to Sunday for an hour. There are different presenters from different parts of the branch that will be showing different lunchbox ideas for the kids that aren't too cool.
That's a great plug. Thank you. Thanks, Bec. So many great opportunities to get inspired by all the wonderful consultants.
There's my lunchbox. There you go.
Yay. Is that jalapenos on top?
That looks good.
Yeah. This would be more of a Xander. This is actually Kaylee's lunchbox, and she came over and she's like, is that my lunchbox? Yeah.
Amazing. What creative mums you guys are, and full of knowledge. Thank you so much for sharing today.
No worries. Has anyone got any questions just before we sign off?
Let me see. So Annette's filled her survey.
Okay.
Nicola is looking forward to making some of those, and Diane's going to make some with her granddaughters.
Oh, awesome.
And I can't wait to make some as well. And I don't think there are any other questions.
Do you want to show the ebook quickly, Deb? You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Let's do that. Okay. Let me have a look. Please tell me I've got it here. Hold on. Just bear with me. You just talk for a minute, Bec, so I can do that.
No worries. What was I saying? I was going to check the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I love the lunchbox ideas. We kind of get. The beginning of term, I'm always really excited about packing lunchboxes and the cool things that are packed for the kids, and then over time, I guess they kind of stop eating some of the things and leave them in there. And I think I always feel a little less upset if we prep in advance and we're not doing it all the time, and we're just grabbing things out of the freezer that are good for them. And obviously I've got a 13-year-old boy who just eats like a horse. And one of the reasons why kids might continuously eat at the end of the day is if you don't get enough protein in the morning and at lunchtime, the hunger or kind of boredom that people see is usually people just searching for more protein. And what generally happens with kids and adults is we go find chips and we go find foods like chocolates that don't have protein in them. So we'll just keep eating until our body is happy and gets enough protein, or we go to sleep. So if you can get, for adults and for kids, if you can get a good level of protein in your breakfast and your lunch, you're not going to be as hungry during the day. And with things like beans and different fibers, you feel fuller for longer, and they also help regulate your blood sugar levels. So, you know, when you feel really tired in the afternoon, the better you eat in the morning and at lunch. So I've got a 4-year-old in the background. The better you eat in those morning and lunch times, you know, the less you're going to feel it in the afternoon. You won't have as big a crash. So,
sorry, I'm getting there.
No, you're right. It's hard on my phone. I can't see the chat.
Okay, right. I'm just trying to work out. Okay.
It is hit or miss with kids' lunchboxes. Sometimes they absolutely love eating things at home. My kids love sausage rolls. We make our own sausage rolls at home. We either make meat ones or we make vegetarian ones. And sometimes they'll eat them at lunch, and then sometimes they don't like them cold. So it can be hit and miss. Sometimes they like it, even if you make things for after school snacks as well. Or I think one of the other things I want to explore with Deb in a little while, one of our future classes, will be kind of redefining breakfast. So encouraging kids to have different types of food for breakfast than your average like toasts and cereals, you know, in an attempt to give them more fiber and give them more protein first thing in the morning. If that makes sense. Deb.
Sounds like a fantastic idea too, that breakfast. Thanks, Rebecca, for all those tips. Very useful, I'm sure. And if Deb can't find the ebook, I'm sure it will be getting sent to everybody very soon. Trina says her daughter loves waffles, but is super fussy with school lunches. Yep, I'm super excited to make her some waffles in her lunchbox. Thanks, ladies. And Robin says super demo. Thanks, ladies, so much.
All right. I might be able to, yep, just bear with me. I'm bringing it up now. Here we go. Woo. Bear with it. It's just downloading. Okay, here we go. So we've got obviously the contents. This is an old one.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Yep, so there's, what is that, the first recipe you were showing, Bec?
Yeah.
Yep. And then we got condiments and different topping ideas from Cookie Doo. We've got the vegan breakfast waffle, which I didn't make today, but that's our family favourite. Then this is the one apple and custard we did today, almond and custard. And then Bec's got a lovely parmesan and zucchini one. The pakora ones, as you notice, they're a little bit darker because of the beetroot in it. It's really good with salad and quinoa. And then the corn and black waffles, they look so good. And yeah, so we got the bonus one. So this is, like I said, this is our mock ebook. So this was the one before the final cut.
So the official ebook will come with nutrition panels, so you can have a look at the different macros and serving sizes.
Yeah, we've got
waffles.
that all in.
And what we're going to be doing over the next week or so is I'm going to be doing some comparisons of the different waffles and the different nutrient components of them, so you can see for yourself. Sometimes it's not just about counting macros. Sometimes swapping flours, so say from a white flour to a multi-grain flour might give you a different, some different nutrients. You can see how much salt is included, things like that. So you'll be able to see between the different waffles why it can be really important to diversify and have different things for different nutrients.
Yep. All righty. I think we're done, Bec.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. Yeah, we really enjoyed it, and our family's going to be really happy with all these waffles that we've got. And you can just see how quick and easy it is, and like the storage component, it's a real game changer with time. If you don't have much time, it could just really change, the whole fuss when it comes to lunch boxes as well. But we're looking for Bec, what day are you doing the cook? Helping out. You're helping out next week with the cooks?
Monday.
Monday. Okay.
I'm just helping out. I'm just looking at comments, so I'll be answering people's questions.
All right. And Jess, when are you doing it? Has she left? She there?
Hello.
I don't know. What day are you doing the cook?
Sorry, my daughter was complaining about something. Yes, so I'm going to be on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and I'm going to be doing 2 healthy muffins, a carrot and chocolate. And the other muffin I'm doing is it's called Intense Chocolate Sugar-Free Muffin. They're both from Cookie Doo. They both are a healthier option. And my co-presenter is going to be doing some yummy chewy biscuits, but each day there's going to be a different one. So if anyone doesn't have that link and wants it, let us know.
Maybe put it in the comments or the chat anyway, so people can have it.
Okay.
I'm doing next Saturday. I'm doing some tandoori chicken wraps. So I'm looking forward to sharing that. And they are going to be recorded. You're recording them, aren't you, Jess? Yeah.
That's right. And on there's lots of different presenters. It's 10 a.m. every day. And I'm also doing Sunday, which I'm going to do a real Japanese style bento box.
Oh, my son will love that. He's going to be tuning in for that one.
And if you register once, I'll pop the link in now. You register once and it will get you in any of the days. We are working on a PDF as well for that one. And you'll have.
Is it a cook along too?
It's a cook along. Yes. Yeah. So it's the idea for that one is basically lunchbox fillers for your freezer. Most of them could be put in the freezer. So we're trying to help everyone utilize their Thermomix to get ready for the school term, or if you do homeschooling or not going back straight away to school, it'll be helpful as well. So I'll pop that in the chat box.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks very much for looking after the chat today, Jess. And
you're welcome.
Thanks everyone for coming along.
Great. You guys did a great job. Very professional, full of information. Well done.
Yeah, and just make sure you do the questionnaire, because the questionnaire is what's going to get you sent the ebook. So be sure to do the questionnaire.
We like feedback.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to sign off now. Bye all.
Thank you. Bye. Well done.